You've gotten maybe the greatest validation you could get as a comic and an actor, which is, and not the Emmy nomination was
I'm not
great.
sure what you're talking about.
You'll probably, but it's being asked to be in a Woody Allen movie.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah.
And how did that work exactly?
Well, I grew up loving Woody Allen. He's the greatest to me, and he's a real, he's just a beacon artistically.
You can see that love in your show, I think, certainly.
Yeah. And
Corey Feldman has no idea what it's like not to be famous. He was just 3 years old in this McDonald's commercial.
McDonald's gift certificates. I literally was famous before I knew my own name.
His roles defined the 80s. Goonies.
This was my dream, my wish.
Stand By Me.
You call my dad a loony again, and I'll kill you.
License to Drive.
The only difference between you and that greaseball is that he has a license and you don't.
Films that propelled him into the spotlight for his entire youth. But being famous so young, he says, caused serious damage to him and his friends.
Do you feel like you missed out on a normal childhood?
What childhood? I don't know what that means.
A lost childhood and a loss of innocence. He blames the adults, not just those looking to profit from charming children, but also some with far more sinister motives.
I can tell you that the number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah. Not in the same way. It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh yeah. I was surrounded by them when I was 14 years old. Surrounded. Literally. Didn't even know it. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
Vultures who Feldman says abused him and his best friend, the late child actor Corey Haim, his co-star in The Lost Boys.
Well, what happens if my mom is dating the head vampire?
Feldman says the trauma of that pedophilia contributed to Haim's death.
There's one person to blame in the death of Corey Haim, and that person happens to be a Hollywood mogul. And that person needs to be exposed, but unfortunately I can't be the one to do it. But the person that knows who did it and knows who he is watching right now, I guarantee you. Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah. There was a circle of older men that surrounded themselves around this group of kids. And they all had either their own power or connections to great power in the entertainment industry.
Feldman won't name names. And he admits his friend had a struggle with addiction, which he says was a mechanism to cope with his demons.
It was a symptom.
It was a symptom, correct.
Are we in it?
In 2008, the two Coreys confronted each other on their reality show about the dark past they shared.
You let me get around in my life, man, raped, so to speak, when I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now. What'd you do, man, when you saw that you knew about it?
You want to talk about the truth? Okay, well then let's talk about the truth. I was being molested at the same time by somebody else. What'd you do? You know, there's a lot of good people in this industry, but there's also a lot of really, really sick, corrupt people in this industry. And there are people in this industry who have gotten away with it for so long that they feel they're above the law. And that's got to change.
So how do you know when an idea is good enough if you've never tried it out on stage?
Well, there's a few different... There's some ideas I just know.
Right.
Some ideas you just go because I've repeated the rhythm so many times of being on the stage talking and getting laughs.
Right.
I'll have a thought and I'll go, oh, that's a bit.
Because you know that from all the years of doing it.
Yeah, you just know. And then there's other things where I go, I don't think anyone would ever like this. This is actually might be troubling to some crowds. I want to try it anyway.
Do you have... Give me an example, if you can think of one, where you said to yourself, this could be really good, but it would be troubling to a crowd. And then you got up and it just totally, like the crowd was disturbed by it. Don't you think, what are you thinking about now that could possibly go wrong or did
These
in the past?
days, well, yeah. I don't know about these days. I mean, I had one bit that never quite made it because I didn't, and I could have made it work.
Because you were having a dark thought?
Yeah.
It was dark.
Yeah.
What was this dark
Well,
thought?
last year I think I did this on the show, actually, on the series. I think I put it in there, but it was a thing about that, people hate child molesters so much. They hate them worse than murderers or anybody else.
Right.
So getting caught child molesting that's the end.
That's the worst.
It's really the end of your life in every way. Your
That's
friends are gone. Whatever you had is gone.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why a lot of kids that get molested get killed. Because it's like once you whatever got you to the moment where you molested a kid.
Right.
Once you hit that moment, you're like, I can't let this kid go. And the kid goes home and tells anybody. So you kill the kid.
Right.
So the bit was that if we could hate child molesting a little less.
Here's the thing. I have 2 children, and the thing that scares me the most is that they disappear. Nothing that scares me more than them disappearing. That's every parent's worst fear. Now, why do kids disappear sometimes? I think it's because somebody took them and had sex with them, and once you have sex with a kid, you got to toss them, because people hate folks who have sex with kids more than pretty much anything. If you murder somebody, folks will find you a reason. You were upset. You were dehydrated. Whatever. So here's the thing. So if you have sex with a kid, you got to chuck them out, because if the kid tells anybody, you're screwed. So I can't help thinking that if we could take down a few notches the hatred for kid having sex people, at least you get the kid back. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that the guy could just call you, hey, kid, you want me to bring him to soccer or drop him at your house? I know that's hard to hear. But